Roku has what you need to make your college home away from home feel more like your own. Make your dorm the place to be with Roku TV, or bring a Roku streaming stick to easily access all your favorite free and premium content like iHeartRadio. Stream your favorite playlist with the Roku Vibe Setting Smart Light strips to sync your music to millions of colors and make your dorm feel more like you. Make your dorm the place to be with Roku TVs, streaming players, and smart lights. Head to Roku.com or your favorite retailer to deck out your dorm.
At Crunch Fitness, we know the difference between feeling bad and feeling good. But dialing your ex feels bad.
Sam? Hey, Sam?
But dialing in your fitness routine feels good. Hearing they want to get back together feels bad.
Sam, are we back?
Working your back at Crunch feels good. Having to change your number feels bad.
The number you have dialed is over you.
Lifting a huge number of pounds feels good.
Nice!
So feel good, not bad. Join from $9.99 at Crunch.com or your local Crunch gym.
New year, new pleasure. Start 2025 with Starship's Customer Appreciation Days every day in January. Visit Starship locations on Old National Road in Atlanta, Terra Boulevard in Jonesboro, and Highway 34 in Noonan, and indulge in an extra 20% off when you whisper the secret keyword pleasure at checkout. Awaken your passions and spice up the new year with 20% off in-store every day in January. Just say the secret word pleasure. Make 2025 the year of endless pleasure with Starship, your trusted partner in sexual health and wellness.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Say what you want about Disney. Say that you don't like its content, but you can't say it's also woke and it's going broke. It's neither, and it's outperforming everyone else out there. The number one movie this week is, again, Mufasa, the Lion King. Last week, it was number 2, now it moved back up to number 1. And for 2025, it's the leader of the year. It's grossed $210 million domestically, $382 million internationally. I'll come back to that, how international has supplanted domestic, meaning Disney knows that there's more money outside of the U.S. than there is inside the U.S. And a lot of their decisions, as far as programming and also movies that they produce, are predicated on that. So a worldwide gross of $591 million. And it's out 5 weeks. It should be hitting streaming soon. But it's another movie which has grossed more than $500 million. Coming in at number 2, One of Them Days. Not watching that. Number 3, Wolfman. I actually do want to see that because I'm always in for any werewolf movie. That's just me. Sorry.
I was going to go see that, but didn't wind up doing that this weekend. I think it's time for another Mandate.
I don't know if you'll be able to get all of us to see Wolfman.
I've been working Tuala. I think he's ready to break.
Okay. All right.
I'm surprised you want to see it because I thought you don't really like.
I don't count those as horror.
I see. Okay.
That's more like sci-fi-ish.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not, no. Like a movie like American Werewolf in London or the great movie The Howling, things of those movies. I like werewolf movies. I don't count Twilight as werewolf movies. That's something else.
No.
that doesn't count.
I got you.
Tween wolves.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely want to see Wolfman. It came in number 3 this week with $10.9 million. It's grossed $17 million worldwide as its first week out. But let me just back up 1 second. I want to go back to the year of 2024 because it's going to highlight another point I'm going to make. And for all the criticism of Disney has single-handedly saved the movie industry. If you want to complain about what Disney has to offer, you better at least say thank you for keeping movie theaters in business, because the number 1, the number 2, and number 4 movie of all of 2024 were Disney. Okay, Marvel Disney or Disney Pixar Disney. And all 3 of those movies from 2024 have now grossed $1 billion with a B, as they say. That's all Disney. Okay? The number 6 movie this week is Moana 2. It brought in $5.9 million. Its worldwide gross is $1 billion. Just crossed $1 billion. Its international take is $567 million, higher than its domestic. Can you see the pattern here? Disney is experiencing more success outside the United States than in the United States. Ergo, they're going to be more reactive to what the world community thinks of its product than just the United States. And they are single-handedly, I'm not exaggerating, single-handedly saving the movie business industry. So if the next time you say, in relation to Disney, go woke, go broke, you're clowning yourself. You're really ignorant of what is happening in this movie industry.
Least not we forget the fact that even though I did not love it, their Alien film actually did very, very good at the box office because that's also a Disney subsidiary that released that.
It's getting a follow-up, too.
Yeah, it is, because it did that good.
It did. You know, you didn't like it, but Mark and I liked it. I didn't like everything about it, but I liked it.
No, it was worth seeing. And a movie doesn't have to check off every single one of your boxes to make it worth seeing. I'm glad I saw it. I don't think I need to own the collector's edition Steelbook Blu-ray of it, but it was okay.
Yeah, I'm glad I saw it. I'm not mad that I saw it. I was not as big a fan of it as I thought I would be with what the trailer portrayed. I thought I was going to love it, and I didn't. I was a humongous, and I still am a humongous fan of Moana. I did not like Moana 2 at all, but Moana 2 really and truly wasn't for me. It didn't hit on any of the box as far as the storytelling or the singing or anything that I like, but families are loving it. Why? Because it's something else for them to see in theaters besides films for adults.
Moana needs some xenomorphs in it. Then the rest of us would go. Don't you think?
No.
I think that'd be very entertaining.
No.
Coming in number 9 this week, I want to skip down the list, is Wicked. 9th week, still in box office, still in theaters. 9th week. It grossed $3.5 million this week. Worldwide total, $709 million. It won't get to $1 billion, but it's going to get $750 million.
But you cannot forget the fact that this is 9th week. It's still in the top 10, and it's available at home. I already own it at home.
And another movie they called Woke.
That is true.
I'm just saying, those dots do not connect. You sometimes people think that only what they like and only what they believe is the best and preferential for everyone around the world. Movies are made for the world. They're not made for a certain political subset of the United States. And that certain political subset of the United States is not making or breaking these movies. These movies are making at least half of their money overseas. So when the decisions are going to be made, who's going to star, the story that's going to be told, how it's going to be marketed, they're thinking about the world community, not just that little bitty portion of the United States that you all happen to agree upon everything on social media.
Oh, they're going to be real mad come February 14th when Captain America Brave New World drops.
And it will be interesting to see how, and this is what I'm looking for, how the movie performs internationally. That's all I need to see.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what people are going to be so angry about.
So far, the box office pre-sales are looking phenomenal for it.
The buzz, the buzz is there.
Yeah.
The buzz is really there. Of course, we're talking about Anthony Mackie starring as Captain America, the next iteration of Captain America. And that's what a lot of people don't know. There are multiple characters within the comic book universe who assume the mantle. There's Thor, there's Lady Thor. There are all sorts of Deadpools. It's just weird how people want to get mad about things and they don't even know the source material.
Yeah, especially because this is actually comic book canon. This isn't all of a sudden they just got rid of Steve Rogers and just put in some guy named, Sam Wilson. Where did this black Captain America come from? I saw someone literally said that on social media because I was excited about buying the tickets and I posted it and someone had the nerve to say, where did this all of a sudden come from? And I'm like, you obviously do not know comic books because this is straight out of the comics that this happened.
I got someone's ass online this weekend because someone was saying, well, he's not really Captain America because he didn't take the serum. I said, well, then, all right, wait. I'm sorry. So what does that make Emil Blonsky? Does that make him
Playing the
Actual
Blonsky
Hulk?
card, are you?
No, wait. I got some more.
Yeah.
All right. So what does that mean for Isaiah Bradley? Crickets. Checkmate. And if you don't know who Isaiah Bradley is, I rest my case. You're talking about someone who had the serum, who actually was Captain America, per se.
Mm-hmm.
They just refused to give him that title and mantle. You know, folks, they always see the world through their last 5 minutes of political ideology, not knowing the fullness of the character or the character histories or the world which was created most likely before they were even born.
Well, and their ignorant objections to it in general are actually part of the plot.
That is
That's
also
true.
true. Yes.
And also part of the history of the character. Yeah, they're complaining about stuff which is literally in the movie. Literally in the movie. That they say they're not going to see. But we're going to go see it. When are we going to go see it together?
Thursday night, because I thought it would be too weird for us to go see it on Valentine's Day. So we're seeing it the Thursday night before.
Oh, you know I love you to all.
Yes, but still,
Don't deny it.
A late night showing after the show on Thursday the 13th.
Let them think what they want.
We're look, the tickets have already been purchased, and
Okay.
I think the tickets on the 14th have already been sold out. I think the theater's already sold out. So the 13th it is. So get your Red Bull and all that.
All
I'll
right.
be okay. Mark will be okay. We see movies late at night. I'm worried about you and Foosh.
Yeah.
As long as Steph doesn't try to hold my hand, we're okay.
Yeah. And hopefully you get your nuggets in time.
Hey, keep my nuggets down.
Don't hold his nuggets.
You know what, Mark? I was thinking over the weekend, I'm just going to take control of the rim shot, and we'll just be self-congratulatory because we're not going to get anything out of this guy.
No, you already have taken control of it. You're the Elon Musk of it. What do you think you don't? What do you think you don't
think I
have?
bought him off for $44 billion?
Yeah.
Roku has what you need to make your college home away from home feel more like your own. Make your dorm the place to be with Roku TV, or bring a Roku streaming stick to easily access all your favorite free and premium content like iHeartRadio. Stream your favorite playlist with the Roku Vibe Setting Smart Light strips to sync your music to millions of colors and make your dorm feel more like you. Make your dorm the place to be with Roku TVs, streaming players, and smart lights. Head to Roku.com or your favorite retailer to deck out your dorm.
At Crunch Fitness, we know the difference between feeling bad and feeling good. But dialing your ex feels bad.
Sam? Hey, Sam?
But dialing in your fitness routine feels good. Hearing they want to get back together feels bad.
Sam, are we back?
Working your back at Crunch feels good. Having to change your number feels bad.
The number you have dialed is over you.
Lifting a huge number of pounds feels good.
Nice!
So feel good, not bad. Join from $9.99 at crunch.com or your local Crunch gym.
New year, new pleasure. Start 2025 with Starship's Customer Appreciation Days every day in January. Visit Starship locations on Old National Road in Atlanta, Terra Boulevard in Jonesboro, and Highway 34 in Noonan. And indulge in an extra 20% off when you whisper the secret keyword pleasure at checkout. Awaken your passions and spice up the new year with 20% off in-store every day in January. Just say the secret word pleasure. Make 2025 the year of endless pleasure with Starship, your trusted partner in sexual health and wellness.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
We know that the Oscar nominations press conference announcement that has been pushed back because of all of the fires around Southern California. Makes perfect sense. Nobody wants to hear about any Oscar nominees for Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Cinematography, Best Costuming, Best Key Grip, Best, I don't know, hairstylist. No one wants to hear about any of that stuff right now. But that has to do with the nominations. What about the actual show? Stephen King. He's getting to the curmudgeon point of his life, but he's pretty honest with what he has to say. From politics on down. You know exactly where he stands. On Blue Sky, Stephen King said he would not be voting as a member of the Academy this year. In other words, he will not place his vote on any of the awards. He also said, quote, IMHO, in my humble opinion, they should cancel them. No glitz with Los Angeles on fire, close quote. Stephen King says, cancel the Oscars. I say he's wrong. Here's why. If the Oscars we're like the first or second week in February when all of this is still very fresh and uncertain and people are unsure where all of this is headed, that would be one thing. I think it's reasonably safe to assume, hopefully I'm right, that this will not be an issue come March. The Oscars are slated for March 2nd. That's more than a month away. There's no telling what the world will look like in another, 40 days. But 40 days from now, I suspect that we will be emotionally okay with having a television ceremony. Hell, we'll have the Super Bowl before then. We will have the Grammys, if I'm not mistaken, before then. We will have a number of award shows. We just had the Golden Globes. The idea of not having the Oscars because, quote unquote, LA is on fire, and hopefully it won't be in the next month, in 10 days, it says to me, although well-intentioned, although I'm sympathetic, I just don't think it's realistic. And having been someone who worked for the Grammys, that organization, the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences, the complete budget for the year was predicated on the television revenue brought in, for the most part, from the telecast of the Grammys. I have to assume that the Motion Picture Academy is largely dependent upon the Oscar ceremony as well. So not only would it be injurious to the organization and Hollywood more generally, I don't think other than just a symbolic gesture would it benefit anyone. But again, it's more than a month away. And we haven't canceled anything along those lines regarding award shows prior to then. Why would we then go out of our way to cancel it then? Now, we may look at, and we're up at February 15th, and the fires are worse then than now. Then we have a different conversation. We have more information. And then from there, we decide, okay, because of what's happened more recently, it's time to make the unfortunate decision. We have to cancel the Oscars. But to cancel them in January, when the show is not even in until March, seems just a little strange to me. Am I wrong, Mark?
I love Stephen King, and I think he is an intelligent, decent guy, but I don't agree with absolutely everything he says because I'm not in a cult. Also, there's the argument to be made that having the Oscars will show our resiliency, and by that time anyway, we're going to be in a whole different emergency with bird flu out of control.
We will have any number of emergencies between now and then. Yes, you can make the argument that Hollywood, when you think of Pacific Palisades, Hollywood people who live in Pacific Palisades disproportionately is impacted when we talk about the fires and its connection to Hollywood. But I think it would also be a bit insulting if you're focusing the argument of canceling the Oscars because of Pacific Palisades when it's much more encompassing than Pacific Palisades. It seems like Stephen King, he may say LA's on fire, but he's making a Hollywood connection here because he's specifically talking about the Oscars. The Oscars represent Hollywood. They represent wealth. They represent movies, and Pacific Palisades is where a lot of them folks live or lived.
Well, I think you do have to be sensitive here because right now when people are still largely right in the middle of it or just getting over it, nobody wants to see a bunch of celebrities patting themselves on the back. But down the line, not too far from now, it might be good to have something like that just for morale.
And it may not be the traditional Oscars. It may not be the glitz and glamour, just like COVID. You know, you change some things because of the circumstances. It may not be the full red carpet and, you know, the dresses, the gowns, and all the things that we're accustomed to seeing with the Oscars. It may be more muted. And maybe there's a conversation to have for it's not what you do, it's how you do it, how you go about it, how you present it. But I don't think it would be inappropriate to have the Oscars from what we know right now. Let's say we have a period of 30 days of relative quiet as far as disasters in LA. Then the question would be, well, why are we canceling the Oscars when the world most likely has moved on? Because the Oscars are not just about LA or Southern California. It's a worldwide telecast and it has worldwide significance in that regard. Now, it may seem that because we live in LA, it's much more, it's hyper focused as far as our concern. But the world, going back to what I was talking about in Chicago, outsiders don't really have any understanding of what's going on and who it does impact and who it doesn't impact. And me personally, I think it's kind of insulting if we would only be talking about the Oscars, if not for Pacific Palisades being hit. I don't think we're having this conversation if it didn't hit Pacific Palisades and it only hit, let's say, Altadena or some of these other areas. I might be wrong, but I doubt it.
So you think if it just burned down Riverside, we wouldn't be having this talk?
If it burned down Riverside, Altadena, Pasadena, and I'm not wishing ill, I'm just saying picking out some communities where I don't think the Oscars would have made a change in the least.
It might, if by that time the rest of the world isn't talking about it and we're not getting messages from our friends all over the globe, it might help keep it fresh in people's mind, and they could even decide to use it for fundraising.
Well, I would, thank you for saying that, because I would use the Oscars as a platform to bring about something good, to do something good for people. How often are you going to have that worldwide audience? You can say you're not going to have the show and turn down the worldwide audience and the opportunity to fundraise or bring better awareness, larger awareness to specific groups, which can be helpful, be it the American Red Cross or whatever. You know, you have that captive audience. Why would you not use it? I appreciate Stephen King as far as the argument that he's making. I just think that it's misguided on this occasion.
He means well, but he's not always right.
And this will be one of those times. You remember that, Mark, when I bring it up about you, you know.
None of this applies to me.
You mean well, but oftentimes you're misguided.
Your ad hominem attacks on me are being noted, and they'll be used against you at a later date.
KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And when we come back, we have just a word or two. I just need to pat myself on the back because I told you about TikTok. I told you about that flimsy ban. I told you. And I just need to take a victory lap when we come back.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And TikTok, we were talking about the approaching ban at the time, what it would look like, what it would mean. And some people thought they wouldn't have any access to TikTok. And I was saying, well, the ban as it was written and as it was voted upon had to do with the app, saying that the app would disappear from the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. And I was trying to tell folks, even if that did happen, you would still be able to access your data. You would still be able to access your account, and it would have full functionality if you went to TikTok.com, the web portal. TikTok went down over the weekend, and we later found out it had to do with TikTok turning itself off over the weekend than anything, which actually blocked it from you accessing it, to coming up again about maybe 12 hours later. And can I give some applause, Stephen? You know, because I was the one who said it's not a real ban. It's not going anywhere. You'll still have your chance to do your tick-ticks and your TikToks and your talk-ticks and your talk-talks. You know, it was all 12 hours. It was a ruse to begin with. And I said, even if all this stuff went away, you would still be able to access TikTok.com. And I used the Pornhub.com as an example. I said you would be able to. And even when the apps disappear for the 12 hours, I used a VPN. And I was back on in a minute. And I almost never use TikTok. I just wanted to see, could I circumvent the whole U.S. ban thing? And sure enough, and you heard Mark Bronner talk about how President Trump has now enacted an executive action extending this moratorium, you know, like a 75-day waiting period on the ban. I'm going to say now what I said then. It's all a ruse. TikTok never went away. It was not going away. And even if it does go away, you'll have access to it if you just know how to use a smartphone like a 12-year-old. Even like a 7-year-old probably knows this. You know how to download an app, right? From like a non-sanctioned app, an APK, where if you don't, you can set up your phone where you can download apps not from the Apple Store or not from the Google Play Store. It's real easy to do. It's one flip of a switch of a setting. It's different on iOS and Android, but it's just one flip of the switch. You'll be able to get it.
Is this some of your dark web tomfoolery? You know I believe in the law, right?
No. This is the legal stuff. What they do is, like, Google Play does not recommend that you download these off-store apps because they're more likely loaded with malware.
So they recuse themselves by saying
correct. They don't expose themselves to any liability for the app. They say, hey, that's a non-sanctioned app. You can do it, but they're not responsible. Yeah, it's on you.
The question is, could any malware be any worse than what Twitter and Facebook are already doing perfectly legally to you?
Well, the question I have, not to dismiss yours, I'm saying it's one of many questions I have. My main question is, if TikTok was a national security threat on Thursday, how is it not going to be 75 days from now? If you sell it or not, our stuff is already out there. And don't think if you want to sell it to an American buyer that we're not profiting, the folks who wanted to ban it or whatever. Because if they sell it, they're going to get it for pennies on the dollar.
I'm hoping we see a lot more reporting on this situation because people should remember that the person who got the ball rolling initially on the TikTok ban was Donald Trump in his first term. And now he's the savior of TikTok. Why did he flip-flop?
Yes, Mark, you're getting it all conflated and confused again in your old age. That's neither here nor there.
How
is
that?
Doesn't matter.
How is
it
that?
It doesn't matter, Mark.
Explain.
It was never said because it's actually a very helpful app and it galvanizes the youth. Everyone was wrong about TikTok, Mark. It is actually one of the best apps ever made, ever.
National security be damned.
So,
or that was a ruse.
I think that, look, all of that was a ruse. They had it wrong. And I believe it was actually someone in Biden's cabinet who actually had it all mistaken and was leading the world astray.
I get it.
TikTok is actually good for you.
I got a
So
question
pay
for you.
attention to the most recent thing that he said.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yesterday doesn't matter. Ministry of Truth. What was it your daughter had said about? Your daughter likes to get on TikTok.
It was the crazy thing. My daughter is TikTok. Okay, she's of the TikTok generation. And as soon as it went down, it's like she woke up. She's like, "Oh my God, I cannot get on TikTok." And then she said, "Oh, she got a notice saying that she could get TikTok by going on the website TikTok.com."
What?
Yes, and I'm like,
what?
Mo said exactly that. That was crazy. And then she got a notice, I don't know, moments later say, "Oh, sorry, nope, our bad. Just pulling your leg. TikTok is actually back up. Here you go. TikTok away."
I love the memes.
Talk and tick.
Like, it's banned. Just kidding.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. It just amazed me how it was ever taken seriously as a ban by anyone. It's like banning drugs in that sense.
Yeah.
Because the people are going to find them regardless. And it wasn't even a sincere attempt from a technological standpoint to prevent either TikTok or ByteDance to not do the same thing on just some other app like Red Note, which they own. So it was never real in that regard. And even if they did take away the app accessibility, you would still have access to the web portal, which would use the same data that you're using because you're still using it on your phone. So nothing was ever going to change, ever. And so if you are upset at someone for supposedly banning it, you're an idiot. If you are somehow happy because someone else brought it back, you're an idiot and you got played. Either way, you're an idiot. Don't get mad at me. I told you about this in advance. Did I not? Did I not?
You did. You absolutely did.
I just pulled a muscle, patting myself on the back. I got to stop doing that. I hate being right all the damn time. Got to listen to Later with Mo Kelly much more often. You learn something.
Yeah.
Even you, Mark.
What a tremendous burden you bear.
Heavy is the crown.
Yes.
Let's check in with George Norman when we come back. KFI
Roku has what you need to make your college home away from home feel more like your own. Make your dorm the place to be with Roku TV. Or bring a Roku streaming stick to easily access all your favorite free and premium content like iHeartRadio. Stream your favorite playlist with the Roku Vibe Setting Smart Light strips to sync your music to millions of colors and make your dorm feel more like you. Make your dorm the place to be with Roku TVs, streaming players, and smart lights. Head to Roku.com or your favorite retailer to deck out your dorm.
Crunch Fitness here to remind you that feeling good is better than bad. For example, getting a call from your boss at night feels bad. Tackling miles of cardio like a boss feels good. Burning your mouth on a reheated burrito feels bad.
Ow!
Burning calories at Crunch feels good. Getting dumped feels bad.
Why?
Dumping your old gym feels good.
Bye-bye.
So remember, feel good, not bad. Join from $9.99 at crunch.com or your local Crunch gym.
New year, new pleasure. Start 2025 with Starship's Customer Appreciation Days every day in January. Visit Starship locations on Old National Road in Atlanta, Terra Boulevard in Jonesboro, and Highway 34 in Noonan. And indulge in an extra 20% off when you whisper the secret keyword pleasure at checkout. Awaken your passions and spice up the new year with 20% off in-store every day in January. Just say the secret word pleasure. Make 2025 the year of endless pleasure with Starship, your trusted partner in sexual health and wellness.
640 Live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI, Mr. Mo Kelly. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie, who joins me probably from the very, very chilly St. Louis studio. Am I right?
Actually, it's the very windy Los Angeles.
Oh, you're out here now. How long are you going to be out here?
A couple months.
Okay. All right. Then I'll be contacting you through back channels so we can do lunch with Mark Ronner.
You got it. We got a classic Coast to Coast tonight, Mark. We're going to be, talking about artificial intelligence. Can it go astray? And then intuition.
Oh, intuition. That's you think you did that show for me, right?
Mr. Kelly, everything's for you.
Thank you. I'm glad. See, the more you say that, the more people will realize it.
Don't encourage that, George. Don't encourage it.
He's buying lunch.
That's true. I will buy lunch. But very quickly, how cold was it in St. Louis over the weekend? I was just in Chicago.
It was down to about 10, I think.
Yeah, it was 10 on Sunday when I left. Yeah.
Cold.
Be safe, be warm.
Okay, see you soon.
Yeah. Mark, you lived in Indiana. Where else?
Oh, all over the place. Scotland, places where if you were prone to suicide, the weather would push you the rest of the way.
Wait, but how long did you spend in Scotland?
A year.
I didn't know it was that long. I thought you just visited.
No. I lived there long enough so that I could start to understand the cab drivers.
Can you do a Scottish accent?
Only when I'm drunk, and I think that's their secret too.
I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, me being right all the time. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. Let's not get too far away from that.
Now, I can say this. Sometimes I think, and this is a generalization, going back to TikTok, sometimes we look at the news through such a jaded prism and a confirmation bias prism, we miss the obvious things right in front of our face. And for me, TikTok was a glaring example. If you know anything about smartphones, if you know anything about how people use smartphones, the whole idea of banning TikTok, I don't care what the executive action has to say about, a stay on the executive action and the ban for another 75 days. It does not matter. It means absolutely. If you think someone took away your TikTok, you're not paying attention. If you think someone is going to bring it back, you're not paying attention. And I don't know how to say it, any more dismissively and condescendingly. This is the easy stuff. Get the easy ones right.
Yeah, you really need to develop some radar for when you're getting worked by somebody. And let me draw your attention. Over the weekend, I saw a really good in-depth John Oliver report on TikTok. They put in the time and the research on things that you barely ever even see in legit journalism anymore.
I will say this. There is an argument to be had about whether a foreign-owned company, which is in the business of data mining, is a threat and danger to the United States interests. That is a reasonable conversation to have. But that conversation goes out the window when on one day you say it's a threat to national security, and the next day, literally, the next day you're saying, I'm going to save TikTok. It's got to be one or the other. It's got to be one or the other. Either it's dangerous or it's not. If it's dangerous, then there is no solution. Like, put it this way. If there's a threat, if there is some existential threat to the country, well, it's not going to be an existential threat just because someone else has stepped in. Either it is or it isn't. It's real simple. And it amazes me how TikTok has been both over the space of 8 days. About 8 days. Because the rhetoric was completely on the side of, we need to ban TikTok because it's a threat to national security. That was like last week. Am I wrong? I think it was like last week. There was no real discussion of trying to save TikTok.
The thing is, TikTok is bad and it violates our privacy in all sorts of ways, but it's no worse than Facebook and Twitter.
Aha. You beat me there, Mr. Ronner. You are on to something.
Yeah, they're both doing the exact same thing or worse than TikTok does, but nobody calls them out on it. There's no consistency on this. And I'm looking at a PolitiFact article right now where they rate President Trump's position on TikTok a full flop. I didn't know that we had full flops, but they awarded him a full flop.
President Trump has never lied to us. Stop it.
Well,
Stop it. Stop it.
The point is he very clearly changed his mind on it, and we haven't had the reporting or the interview to really get to the bottom of the reason for the mind change.
And I think that's fair. I think it's fair to ask why the quote-unquote evolution, change of mind, redirection as far as resources and direction of this. If it was that. Now, I've heard the public press release that they're trying to get it sold to U.S. interests. And I would not be surprised if it happened to be someone in very close proximity to Donald Trump, because they would benefit because they would get, as I said, they would get it pennies on the dollar. Let's be real. There is a monetary interest at play here.
Well, there's no question that one of Trump's big donors is a major stakeholder in TikTok.
Wait. Is that true?
It is true. But
I didn't know that.
But the answer could range from that to maybe he saw the light and realized that was what young people are into. We're not going to know until there's better reporting on it.
Well, if you're waiting for the Fourth Estate to get their act together,
I'm not holding my breath for that. And if it becomes the case that the United States owns 50% of TikTok, then what? It's state media? I don't think we want to be like North Korea.
No, yes, we do. We actually do.
Oh, we do.
And I could do hours on. We are what we say we don't want to be. Some other day, though.
Yeah, that's depressing.
No, we definitely want to be. We definitely want one person to control the media. We definitely want to be mainlined a specific viewpoint from the media. We want that. We've demonstrated that. And we act like it every single day.
War is peace, freedom is slavery, East Asia, Eurasia, etc.
America has not read any George Orwell. And unfortunately, part of the reason why we don't recognize these things because we're not real big on history. We're not real big on literature, banning books, burning books, all that kind of stuff. So none of this is going to make that reference point probably skipped over a lot of people's heads. I made a Ministry of Information and Truth reference went right over their heads.
Well, the right people got it, is the point. All four of them.
KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
What you need to know and when you need to know it.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Hello, iHeart listener. We have a confession to make. Both iHeart and this commercial you're listening to right now would probably sound a heck of a lot better on the new Roku Pro Series TV. It's got side-firing speakers that fill your room with sound, Dolby Atmos audio that puts you right in the middle of the entertainment, and the ability to pair seamlessly with your home theater sound systems that already have surround sound and booming bass. If all that sounds too good to be true, it'll sound even better on the new Roku Pro Series. Your hearing isn't better, your TV is.
Crunch Fitness here to remind you that feeling good is better than bad. For example, getting a call from your boss at night feels bad. Tackling miles of cardio like a boss feels good.
All right.
Burning your mouth on a reheated burrito feels bad.
Ow! Hot!
Burning calories at Crunch feels good. Getting dumped feels bad.
Why?
Dumping your old gym feels good.
Bye-bye.
So remember, feel good, not bad. Join from $9.99 at crunch.com or your local Crunch gym.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.